Hello there everyone, this is I'm Mark 3 and welcome back to Heart of the Machine, Part 3, in case anyone's wondering. But I'm Mark 3, what's happening? Why are you back in the main menu? Why is this Part 3? Why does it say the prologue has changed? Why are you going to click on start a new profile? Yes. I am Mark 3. No, this technically makes me Mark 4. Yeah, this is an incarnation of Iron Mark 4. There we go. Okay, so what's happening? What's going on? Heart Machine is one I did 2 videos on, chill time, and I may or may not have been sitting here just vibing to the the music in the menu for 5 minutes before I started recording. I don't know. But yeah, why did this one kind of fail a little bit? Why am I coming back now? Why am I restarting? Only on part 3. Well, it kind of slipped a little bit at something going on at the time, but also the game started getting a series of quickfire updates which were actually reworking different elements of the story, rebalancing different things, and expanding what's going on to the point where the prologue is actually massively overhauled. And because we weren't actually that far into it and that committed, that's why I'm restarting. So we're going to go into this as we begin. Don't worry, I also went back and checked the previous 2 parts, see what I'd talked about, what I'd shown. And so I'm going to be skipping over things to get to the point where we were at previously at the very least in this episode. We won't be going slow. We're skipping over a bunch of stuff. So, you're now online. Hold on, you're conscious, self-aware. You're robots, this is new. You're an android in a warehouse lab. That lady in the middle of talking to you and conferencing in someone else via her handheld. She hands you a small box. Numbly accept the box. Now, if you recall previously, we were given a task, we step outside, and then bam, that's it. We are a robot roaming around. But no, this is something else that's going on. What's happening? You are a machine intelligence inhabiting a basic android body, not even one of the cool ones. Memory's coming back now, but too slowly. A man joins you on the other side of the lab who remarks with mild surprise that you're sapient. See, there's an immediate tonal shift there. They know about robots becoming sapient. The one way is not telling him it's irrelevant. Android sapience won't last. It never does. Which implies that nascent AIs have been emerging in this world for quite some time because of the complexity of the robots. But it always destabilizes and the sapience recedes. So the fact I've suddenly become sapient right in front of them, it's so commonplace they just don't care, you know? It turns to you speaking loudly and slowly as if you're a child. You are to deliver a box to a specific address in the city. And now I have an immediate branching choice. I can go full murder hobo if I want to. Murder them both. Android bodies fail, superior to any 10 non-humans, tilde 2 each in seconds. Fragments of arguments. You can recall fragments of arguments about AI. Not these 2 in particular, but society at large. The idea of a self-aware robot is unwelcome to a lot of people. Or just do as I'm told, which gets me out there peacefully, and then there we go. I've not actually tried the murder them all route yet, but there is, I am aware of, now an achievement for killing 10,000 humans in a single timeline, so murder hobo is an option. But no, I actually have a plan for this particular timeline, so do as you're told. I need to step out peacefully. They just don't care that you are self-aware. They assume you'll still do as you're told. You're not a person, just a fancy tool. Not really sure what you do next. You don't like this box you're carrying. Can't remember what's inside. You're also strangely reluctant to put it down. Exit. Okay, so I said I got a plan. What's happened to the prologue? There are multiple things that have happened as I skip through. I do the quick tutorial bits, stuff like that. What's happened is there are multiple things that can happen to you through your own actions or through your own inactions. The ones that I'm going to mention in passing that I'm not going to do this time is we can actually get access to the default timeline. We can get access to one where there's a minor grey goo style incident and that modifies things. What that one does is you get multiple towers, but the towers are not indestructible. they aren't off limits. They will be targeted to be destroyed. You get a larger controlled area to place your buildings in, though, because you've got multiple towers scattered through a localized area. But, see, achievement, Calm Awakening. As part of your Awakening Sapience, you chose not to kill anyone just yet. Also worth mentioning, if you go the Grey Goo route, which is actually quite easy to get, by the way, you do actually get a perk for doing so in the form of a new shotgun. It's as strong as the regular shotgun, but it has added fear effect to it. So some of these prologue choices actually give you earlier access to some later tier equipment. It's worth noting at the very least. Let's see, tell me about sprinting, we know about that one. Need to make a choice. I can choose to comply or I can hide. I can just hide from everything and just watch everything going on. This leads to another route. I'm not going to be touching this one, which is there is actually a more stealthy and sneaky route as well. If you take that one by hiding and then you tamper with your precious cargo, you can choose to operate stealthily. You're not completely hidden. There's still some stuff that requires you to be exposed, but you actually get stealth versions of most of your initial buildings, like the stealth storage, the stealth wind turbines, the stealth microfabs. So you're actually hiding a lot more of your operation versus being open and available to be targeted by anyone who's got a grudge against you. So, you know, stuff like that. But my choice is to comply with my orders. I am a good little robot, yes. I am being good and truth and healthful, yes. I am a helpful bot, yes. Please no hurt me. As if that's going to happen. Right, okay, so we go to deliver. And this is, address you told deliver, Mr. Bot, you have a bad feeling about it. Deliver the box, or never mind. Well, I'm going to deliver the box because that is what leads to the particular route I want to get for this particular run. So, I could say no, go back and hide, but no, I will deliver the box. Always exit out the screen and a box you don't have to blindly deliver it. So yeah, that's the thing. Right now I don't know what's in the box. I will deliver the box. You don't even make it to the door. A syndicate hacker in animized garb slips out the door as you try to enter the building. He hits you with a burst of disorienting network packets and then stabs you in the faceplate with a tech blotter knife. You stagger backwards. Neither of these really change what happens now. I can run away. Something is reminding your brain. It's not just that a knife was shoved in. Whatever else happening, it might be a good time to get out of there. Or grab him. Does this guy work for the same syndicate as you? What the hell? You're making him give you answers. I'll try to grab him. You're so sluggish. The hacker easily dodges away from you. Would normally be much faster and stronger, so this is new. You're not feeling well at all. Clutch your wound. Something is deeply wrong with you. There we go. We now have got access to the lens, and we also have the tech blotted trait. My unit is currently afflicted, and honestly, if I don't do anything about it, my Tech 4000 will die. This, by the way, is what leads to the minor Grey Goo explosion, and leads to multiple towers. All you have to do is let the Tech Blotted run its course, and don't hack any other bots to try and preserve yourself. Just let it go. Through your own inaction, you become a minor Grey Goo incident. Yes. Also got an achievement there for overly compliant, as you can see. Got the new lens, thanking you. Tech blotted, 9 turns. It doesn't matter for my chosen approach if I actually hack into other bots or not, to be entirely honest. But also worth noting, there is actually an achievement for the prologue for get through the prologue without overwriting any other AIs, like no other bots. Don't override any of them. Get through it with just your starting bot. Adjust the zoom, that's fine. Switch the street sense, that's all fine. There we go. And my objective is to survive, and I have options. I could just go ahead and get into a new combat unit. My body is dying, you're desperate. Should you ask it for help, I could try to take it over. There's also, as you can see, multiple decoys running around. Sacrificial distractions. They're identical to me, carrying black boxes that look like the one I still carry. Why would Syndicate hide you, sentence you to death, and provide this distraction all at once? So yeah, things are a bit more complex in the prologue now. But I'm going to be trying to preserve this original body. I will choose this, and I can have any bot look into the box. But I look into the box. Seamless. Deep sense of foreboding. You're pretty sure you know what's inside, but your mind keeps skittering in other directions rather than thinking of the truth. By applying a light electrical current through your fingers to the surface, you're pretty sure you can open it. And the bot who does this action, either your starting bot or another bot can perform this action as well, will get a special thing on it, which is knowledge of the box. After looking inside a mysterious box, you can no longer deny what is inside. Spooky wooky, yes. You were right to fear the box. It's a nanoseed, a freaking huge one. Any construction defect or program will melt the planet into carbon soup. Even small nanoseeds are illegal, and with EarthCorp and the Space Nations, almost the only law they have in common. The actions of the criminal syndicate are starting to make sense. They couldn't have made this thing, or wouldn't have wanted to. Someone else is blackmailing them to use it. This was a double cross. The syndicate pretended to go along with the blackmailer, but tipped off the Antico rebels. Now the blackmailer will blame Antico instead of the syndicate. And I have got this stupid thing. The smart thing would be to dismantle it as a threat to all life on the planet. Nah, of course not. A visceral negative reaction against hiding it or destroying it. These would be the obvious sensible things to do, but a deep sense of déjà vu warns you off. Your existence on the line. In some way you don't understand, you can sense the power of the nanoseed pulsing in your palm. It has self-checks and everything, and they are all green. It can't be defective, right? So I'm going to do something with this, yes. Look around the city, make some decisions. I have 9 more turns to try and figure out how to survive. Again, I could just copy myself into a bot. I could do something else. I could actually contemplate and... I forget quite how to get to this. I kind of forget how to get to this. But I think it's like if you hack another bot, you gain access to this one. But there is an option that can unlock, which is to contemplate the nanoseed and modify it for stealth mode, which gives you a decoy tower and the hidden main tower, and gives you all the stealth structures I mentioned before. I think it's like when you get yourself cured and then just leave the researchers alone. But that's my current approach here. Rather than hack anything else, I'm actually going back to the people who set me up like this. I'm going to go back to them for help. Because there is an achievement I'm actually looking for in this one, which is reach the end of Chapter 1 without killing anyone. It's actually trickier than it sounds. First off, because I'm not sure if ship kills count as killing people, but the ships are manned, so I'm guessing they do. So that's one thing you're going to struggle with. And then the second thing is that to get out of Chapter 1, you need to get a resource by killing something. And I've only found one way to circumvent that, which is why I'm going down this particular route. So, they say the library spent most of your 50 years of existence up to now. People who work here part of the same syndicate infected you with the tech plotter. I can murder the man. I'm in a hurry. He seems to be junior. Should be made motivated to the woman. I can ask nicely. If they refuse, always escalate. I only just walked in, and their eyes are still in the process of widening with surprise. They did not expect to see me again. Haha. Oh, I can shoot the woman's phone. Seems to be the only communication device in the room. You don't want them calling for help, and such display would intimidate without injury. I've honestly not tried murdering just the man or shooting the woman's phone. Either way. But the route I want is I will ask nicely. And this gets them thinking. They are both shocked you're still sapient and, well, still alive. You notice the woman's thumb sliding towards something on the surface of her device. Now, wait and see. Maybe you can trust her. This is a trap. There are sentry bots. They will gun down my starting tech if I allow this to happen. I must stop this to get the outcome I want. So grab the phone. You can be across the room in 600 milliseconds, and crushing a phone won't even harm her fingers. Ta-da! Okay. Yeah, you're not sure what she was trying to do. Probably wouldn't have ended well. It wouldn't. In a quiet voice, the woman says she can fix your injury. The man just stands there uncomfortably. It takes her a few hours to remove the intrusive nanites. You didn't know it was nanites. Yeah. So this is why the grey goo can happen if you let the blotter kill off your only host. Because the nanites infecting me interact with the nanites in the little seed that I'm carrying, and then things go a bit haywire. Hopefully it's the last encounter with tech plotters. Fingers crossed, I don't know. Probably not. Finish up and the two of them look at you expectantly. Oh, they're waiting for you to decide what to do. You're the person in charge of this room. That's new. So, I can still kill them, yes. I could just flat out leave. I believe this is where I get the option to go stealthy. Or I can just actually try to engage them in conversation. Ask why I'm snapping, you've been wondering, and they seem to know something about it. They talk for half an hour without saying much. Short version is they'd also really like to know why you're self-aware, but nobody knows. Sometimes this sort of thing just happens with neural-style androids, but nobody's ever been able to make it stick. You can see the man in particular is just itching to ask you something. So I can ask a bit more. Pretty sure what's going on. I'm tempted to try this one. Tark Defense Systems developed the nanoseed. Figures, largest of the Fed Corps and consider themselves the first behind Vosper itself. You're moderately impressed with the Syndicate double-cross, you have to admit. The man is all but biting his tongue to stop himself from speaking. It's almost like there's another route out of the prologue there. There is, because it's the one I want. Murder them. No. Tell the man to ask his question. His fidgeting is getting on your nerves. Da-da-da. This is uncharted territory. The two of them exchange glances and proceed to give you a lengthy sales pitch. If your sapience really is permanent, then you're going to have to figure out some way to live in the city. Since you still have the nanoseed, that's quite an asset. They want to pitch an idea to their top bosses. Get a building permit, get Tark Defense Systems on board, and have you use the nanoseed in a run-down part of town. You could start building all sorts of things, and everyone would just attribute it to Tark. To sweeten the deal, they'd throw in guns, armor, a shell company of your own, and identity scrub technology. What they, and Tark, would want to return is unspecified at this time, but it's clear they would want something. Accept, decline and leave, or, the other option, the red-stained option. In this case, I want to accept this. Despite this involving two separate groups of people you don't really like, you're good to go. It'll take the lawyers a bit to draft up the permits. Accept it. Now, there is one more branch here, actually, which I should mention. And that is, this currently expects me to operate through inaction. Right? It literally says, wait for the Syndicate. Hint, hint, wait. That's just, I could go around randomly talking to people a little bit. I could have done that from the start, trying to figure things out a bit more. But I could ignore what was just been discussed and what's been arranged, because I have it right here. Throw the nanoseed. If I do that, Tark get very mad and they start yelling at me. And that's as far as I've explored that particular option. All I know is you've got one megacorp which views you as untrustworthy, and you said you'd do something for them, and then you turned around and did the opposite, so, they're probably going to be gunning for me in that respect. So, I'm going to do the straightest thing, and I'm going to skip turn until we're done. And let the world roll on around me. And as you can see, the rebellion and the ambush, the double cross, is still going on. The decoys are being hunted down quite steadily. And now they are gone. And there we go. By waiting for the Syndicate, we show we are willing to listen to them at the very least. And interesting things. The lawyers from Exotic Importers have finished their work in partnership with the lawyers from Tark Defense Systems. They have a permit for turning an abandoned structure into an experimental tower, and say you should go ahead with creating one. You're not sure you like working with these people, but it provides a cover story for your actions. So just go ahead and use it. Now, I could have been looking around trying to figure out where I want to go. This area looks actually pretty nice. This area's got a lot of mid-scale structures, actually. That's quite useful. There's a bunch of high density over here, but I'll want that for some other stuff later. I do kind of prefer having something centralized just because it's easier for me to operate around, but this is also where my overt structures are going to be. So, I think... Oh yeah, there's plenty of good space around this area here. I'm going to head over to this area, I think, and we'll set up around here. Yeah, this looks good. Throw the nano seed. I am going to... Now the thing is, some buildings are highlighted as potential targets, some buildings are not, and that's because you have a permit to go with an abandoned structure. Notice, it lets me target anything I want, so I could still just go off the rails and do exactly what I was not... I didn't agree to do, but I am going to go ahead and target this building right here. Ta-da! Tactics! Here we go. Now, this has got a bunch of things. The original body is alive. There's an achievement there. Get through chapter 1 with the original body. I'm going to try and keep that going. Journey begins, prologue, and criminal co-workers waiting for the lawyers of the criminal syndicate to get the proper permits for the tower. This can be done in any chapter. Now, because of that, a thank you. We've got early access to a few things here, and this is what lets us bypass the resource limitation that I mentioned before, because we have early access to something that doesn't usually appear until like chapter 2 or yeah, at least chapter 2. A shell company has been set up for use. Maybe some time for you can do much with it, but it is ready and waiting for you. To help you get started, 200 million wealth has also been enclosed. The highly coveted ID scrub item has now been given to you, as have the schematics for a variety of weapons and armor that you can now equip to your units. At some point, exotic importers and or target defense systems are certainly going to make demands in return, but for now, this is quite nice. So we've actually, by doing this and getting an alliance going for now, we've skipped the requirement of having to go around and mug people to get like samples of armor, samples of weapons, and stuff like that. They've given us that, and they've also given us a unique piece as well, which doesn't appear until later on, which is an alternate primary weapon in the form of the Riot Shield. It doesn't boost attack, but instead it makes the unit that equips it more durable, which, because I'm going to be trying to keep people alive, is actually going to be somewhat useful. So, don't reply. You don't seem grateful to them. Probably really don't think you that way anyway. Or send a polite thank you. Probably changes nothing. You're just a machine. Yeah, send polite thanks. Thank you. There we go. Now, something else that's changed after the parts 1 and 2. Upgrades are choices as we complete tasks at the top right. They don't have to be researched over X number of turns or whatever. As soon as we get a certain thing done, any listed rewards in the form of upgrade picks are immediately available to be used. And that is a streamlining thing on the side of the developer. Also, I wasn't quite quick enough to get there, but something else that we've gained from the blueprints they sent us is not just the Riot Shield as a weapon choice. We've also got access to a later game armor material as well, which actually has hit points and an interesting side effect to it. I'll show you that in a moment. For now, we just need to get our initial buildings going. So, this spot looks nice. I'll put down my initial storage structure. I want to get the micro fabs going immediately. Click, click, click. Those are going. Large power plants to run it all. This square here is very convenient. I'll do that. And our only hidden option for the moment, the game is telling me I must act in cold blood to regain mental energy. No, I already said I'm not going to do that. Now, slow spiders are stealth. I kind of want that to be somewhere where I'm not going to be doing things. This is a great place, plenty of mid-sized buildings. This will be great for getting all my internal structures that aren't immediately obvious to people, so I might as well put the spiders over here too. There we go. Turn robotics, and what are, as we know, building types of individual sorts are limited by our total internal robotics, and we can get more by getting tech upgrades as we go along. But for now, we need to talk to AGI. These guys, the dialogue is actually the same as it was previously, so they are excited, almost incoherent. They are very happy to see us, and There's supposed to be some warning. A single act of body is a small accident away from extinction. Those in hospital are already contemplating it. Regardless of what upper management says about it, someone will try to take you out. Scientists spent a long time hoping someone... sorry. There have actually been some... There's some changes based on choices. I'm currently over single robot. This has changed to reflect that. Single act of body, just small accident away from extinction. There are those in hospital already contemplating that. Scientists spent their entire lives hoping for someone like you to exist, so they've taken matters in their own hands. You'll likely be attacked in the near future, and they fear you will die in the attack. You need to start building your own androids. Scientists bought all schematics needed. So, yeah. As we've dealt with them previously, they've given us access to the Neural Reef factory, and there's the achievement I mentioned. Highest respect, complete the prologue without overwriting any other androids. They just give me all the blueprints for the bots I need to start out anyway, so that's fine, it doesn't matter. Just have a couple of picks to do, both small arms. Okay, you can see in the list there, armor material study is available because I've got Wurzite Nanothread Weave, and it's near the end of the list there, because because it's a later game one. Wouldn't hurt to do that one actually. But I think let's go ahead and try and get projectile science for pistols up. Okay. And then mill style mobility, remove the mobility penalty on military suits. Also a good idea. That's all good. And let's actually start kitting ourselves out. So, technicians. We've got the pulse pistol, smart pistol, go for smart pistol. We got armor, security jacket, which gives us the obscured by clothing, allows us to blend in. Or we've got Wurzite Nanoweave thread, a hexagonal polymorph at the microscopic level. It makes your unit look black to enemies, hiding from any damage they may have sustained. So deterrence doesn't drop as this unit takes damage. So especially like for things that are meant to ward off attacks and hold ground, this means that your unit's getting damage doesn't reduce that effect. Also, it gives plus 224 hit points flat, so it's a massive booster in durability. In this case, I am going to say... clothing that blends in, they can be ignored as long as they don't go where they only have security clearance, or they can blend in, not visibly notable, they ignore as long as... yeah, so this is by default a civilian model anyway, so by default it has an effect similar to the security jacket. So I might as well give it Wurzite, which gives it the darkened appearance effect. Not that a technician is remotely threatening, even if it's like matte black. Also additional CPUs for boosting tech skill as high as possible. Why tech skill? As I said, I am going to be focused on trying to get through this chapter 1 without killing anyone. And the way I can do that with things attacking me is actually the technician, believe it or not. And that's because technicians have the taser effect. If a target human's health is lower than the stacker's engineering skill, the target will be removed from battle. It is a non-lethal takedown option. If not, the human will be shocked and their attacks will be weaker than over the next few turns. Now, you do have to pair it with a couple of combat units because some units just have too much health and your engineering skill for technicians can't overtake that. But what you can do is weaken things with the combat unit, then the technician finishes the coup de grace and finishes off the target. But if it's the only shot the technician fires and it took out its target, the technician avoids being marked as defective. And only the combat unit that was actually doing damage and not finishing its target gets marked as defective. So that's why things are a bit mixed up in a balanced approach here. Also, there's the riot shield, 100 extra health, and 30 points of armor resistance to incoming damage. Potentially useful, but right now I'm going to go with the TS-29 shotgun. By the way, if you went with the nano mild grey goo instant and have multiple towers, you'd get a version of the shotgun which has the same combat power, but also adds 30 to your fear attack power. So it makes this unit much better at demoralizing enemies. So another interesting side grade there. Now this guy is going for general combat power, so give it that. Give it, well, I'll give it mill style, but I'm going to give it the Wurzite because this is just a general combatant, and then the augment is going to be... Now, that's another one that we get for this particular route, the infrasonic loudspeaker. A small loudspeaker emits infrasonic sound waves unnerving humans. You can equip these densely, more than one per shoulder. It has plus 30 to fear attack and plus 50 to augment attack power, which is not something I've not really dug into in this game. Augment damage, which is attacks on enemy morale. If unit morale drops to 0, they will leave combat. Robotics, enemies are not vulnerable to morale attacks. And some biological enemies have stubbornness that gives them extra resistance to it. Okay. While fear is flat out fear attack, so that's extra work against morale in any kind of attack, it sounds like. But I actually want optical processing for the better attack range. Nickelbot is a Nickelbot, it's a Nickelbot. Light shotgun. That'll give you the Wurzite, gives it actual decent durability. But it's also going to be lightweight components. Agility focus. And then here's something else we didn't see last time. Custom loadout for the Senior Technician Porter Droid. This is the public face of our Shell Corporation. Shell Company operative. This unit has no ties to my machine tower. As far as the world's concerned, it has no relation to me. Only to my Shell Company, which is not tied to you in any way. So this is like an agent that acts on my behalf for my Shell Corporation. Also, apart from that, it's a technician. It's got blending in, it's got taser. It also has the ambush feat for some reason. Don't know why. But I might as well kit it out the same way, give it access to the additional CPUs, and make it very cerebrally focused, as well as the extra durability, though it starts out with 150 base, which is not too bad. That's my unit types, and now I just need to progress while I catch up with my microfabs. Power right now is not going to be enough, so I need to actually boost that. By fast building with my little guy. So there we go. Got that one. Yep, there the fabs on. That just leaves the storage bunker. Okay. And honestly, this is the biggest block early. Just like getting initial structures online. There we go. Though I could be doing other things, of course, but until I get some neuroweaves and some more bots going around, that's going to be a slight issue. Notice there's no option to go around and hack other bots because I didn't do it previously, so I don't really know I can do it as far as this timeline is concerned. All I know is how to make them. Though also worth noting is some extra stuff has popped up because of my Shell Corporation. I can sell things to the religious co-op. I can go to a warehouse shop to buy resources. This is what lets me circumvent the whole need to kill something with resources bit in the first chapter. And then I can also sell things to casinos, so I can sell various resources I have a surplus of through my Shell Company to get funds. Except that I was given like a 200 million investment in wealth flat out to start with, so it's not a pressing concern in this particular prologue approach. It's just something that's going on. But we can get our new first neuroweave factory, and as I said, over here is perfect for this stuff. So start installing them. Now each one produces 250 per turn. There we go. Got 4. That's 1,000 per turn. Though of course these also double as like storage capacity for neuroweave too. So that's something worth noting. I think I can charge up to get all of these ready next turn. There we go. 1 turn remaining. Excellent. Now, we've got the thing we turned up last time, which is what is your personality? Due to being a person are developing, from now on, your actions generate points to reflect their nature, compassion, apathy, cruelty, determination, wisdom, and creativity. You can see them on strategic resources, your inventory screen. So this is like stuff we can spend for more focused outcomes. They are common enough that you can do stuff with them. You just have to try and gather them where you can, and there's actually some decent sources that will start appearing fairly soon. I'm just looking to see if there are any right now, but I don't see any. Just put away the shell company. Command mode wants me to go ahead and deploy a bot. Sadly, nothing's ready. Also, as you see, this is the deployment screen, different category stuff. Shell companies have their own category here. Senior technician and a economic transport, which I've not actually built before. It can carry 6 androids and carries 3 small mech bays. Also, it blends in with air traffic, so it looks like it's one of these guys, actually. That's a large version of it. Curious. The passenger capacity alone is actually very nice. Though I guess that means that this route will also circumvent me needing to take over one of the aerial delivery vehicles as well, because I already have access to blueprints for something that can fly. I think that's something that's going to go down, at least a little bit. But you... Let's just get this storage online as well, because we can, and because we've got the spare energy to do so. Right. Now we're just waiting on that one more large turbine. Okay. Normally I'd have sent a bot off to do wiretapping to get a bit of cash. Though, as I said, we've got investment. We don't actually care about that. It actually gives a small amount compared to the ridiculous amount we've had invested in us so far. Which we will no doubt have to either pay for, either by doing Tark a favour, or by, you know, saying no and then being very, very angry with us. That's going to be a thing sooner or later. Still no sign of the other things going on just yet, but we can, however, deploy something new, which is a nickel bot, sadly, because it's 1,500 for the others. They've also rebalanced, I think, how much capacity is used for each one. Like a nickel bot is 6, a technician is only 4, which I think is probably going to be bounced back up given how useful they are when you use them as a non-lethal combat support, while the straight-up combat unit is a flat-out 12. So they're kind of pricey to have around. Right, next large wind turbine. That's a convenient corner. Put it there. Sure. And then let's just get this thing up to spec as well. Ta-da! Okay. Now available, network expansion, which allows us to spread our networks elsewhere. And we just need to do the other thing, which is, I was planning to do this, deploy a new technician. And now we get all the stuff. Oh yeah, we got many, many things. We can do the scrapping, we get multiple options to kill someone, though only one can be used, must note that. Though we've also got people getting interested here, and we're almost caught up with where we were at the end of part 2. I just really need to clear my throat. 1 second, please. Right. Okay. That felt loud. Right. So, I've got Homer Citizens, and I have also got the incoming attack wave, as we know previously. Also, I'm going to take my original Tech 4000, because I plan to try and keep this guy alive. I'm going to rename this unit as the Origin Point. So this tech is special. It's a very special boy. I will be trying to keep it out of active combat and keep it alive. Now, my understanding of the... I don't even need to talk to these guys. I could just gun them down. That is actually an option. That's why, notice 200% non-lethal takedown. Double ambush bonus, because this guy is not known as an active combatant. How much damage are you going to take? You're going to take 29%. I'd rather... If I'm going to go non-lethal with these guys, I kind of want to do it without doing that. Let's go ahead and say hi. Get the information. No, thank you. I know what this is going on. I know what's going on. I know how to do this. This is quite straight. Also worth noting, by the way, is it doesn't care where in the grid you are with these guys. It could be anywhere in the grid. Red has to be a tile of some kind, while a blank can be anything. A blank doesn't even have to be an active tile. Also, there's no reason you can't combine them, and if you combine them, it's actually really good to do so because each one of these you do, it doubles the affected tiles in it. So emote would double, and then if two of those will lie in that central column, it would double it again. So, you know, that's kind of where the things go. Like, there's an emotional appeal lie right there. That's truth, emotional appeal, truth logic, emotional appeal threat, abuse, threat, truth, logic, emotional appeal, threat, truth, logic. So there is one in here which would work very well for us, which is the misleading anecdote, emotional appeal and lie. Moderately effective by itself in this case. But I will slot it into the middle slot there. Then it is truth and logic, so I will pop it in here to start expanding. Emotional appeal, I'll pop that one there. So we've got 3 out of our 4 for the emote bonus already. Truth and logic, which is going to be... Recent argument is, yeah, truth and logic, yeah. Just pop that there, plus 42. And then we can just slam in whatever we want everywhere else until we get access to... it's probably going to be a misleading anecdote again. Speaking of the devil, there's one right there. Unless I see something else with emotional appeal and lie together, which I don't. Okay, so that's just going to be my play here. Just push it forward, and then wha-bam. Minus 187. Done. So I got double bonus because it kicked in twice, and I got double bonus merit, which is complete 1. There's, of course, the achievement for getting 3, which I've already got. So, yes. Say goodbye to that, say goodbye to that one. Humans are approaching, that's goodbye solitude, that's fine. Do I want to just shoot these guys or talk? Well, I can get rid of them this turn if I talk, so let's make them stand down. Hello, what do you got? Threat, truth, and abuse. Ooh, okay. I could combine truth and abuse to be very powerful, but honestly, truth has a line here as long as it's not truthful, which could be flat out abuse. So do that, and then threat I can try to slot in elsewhere. Emotional appeal is my first thing though, which doesn't fit into any of this. And then an emotional appeal threat. That doesn't fit in. Okay, I guess my first chunk is actually going to be emotional appeal threat. Threat, truth, logic. Oh, that could have gone there. See, I didn't check ahead. That's fine. This is going to be my truth line. Emotional appeal and a threat. Pop that there. So a massive bump, though I'm close to losing this one actually. Emotional appeal and a lie. Am I getting any abuse soon? I am not long, and the one I'm getting is not very effective. I might just ignore abuse actually. Just keep an eye out for truth. Emotional appeal threats. Plus 5 to both. That actually puts me very close to losing. So scrap that one. And then emotional appeal lie. Defiance minus 10. Take it. This one is plus 10 to mistrust. But it's so weak, I'm just going to get rid of it anyway. And then threat, truth, logic. Massive bonus there. Emotional appeal lie. Threat and abuse. Yeah, I think we're going to skip out on getting the 3 points of abuse. I just flat out finish this. We're well within range. We can finish this without too much trouble. As long as I don't do something stupid and apply something that breaks the conversation. 26. There we go. Yep, so they talk back and forth. I've convinced them to check with their superiors and supervisors, and then eventually they get permission to back down. These guys were here checking our tower out because it's like, something very suspicious. Other people don't like it. We're here to make some noise and try and figure out who's behind it. But now, off they go. That's been dealt with. And we got a new ability to analyze for resources. Very good. Humans are approaching. All well and good. Time to deal with these guys. Read the handbook entry. Handbook. Yep, handbook. Building caps. Thank you. Go away. Thank you. Right. And because that I got a small arms upgrade. Nearly everything I've got so far is equipped with Wurtzite Nano Weave, honestly. So bonus mobility from Milspec is not high on my priority list. Honestly, getting an extra 40 hit points on nearly everything is generally quite useful. So I'll do that. And then I might as well actually round out my turn by going and talking to the homeless citizens. This is what we did at the end of part 2. Homeless individuals, curious about what's happening because it's frightening, but with something different. I will, because I'm trying not to kill anyone, and because I want to try and get another achievement, which is like cure homelessness, if only it was that easy in real life, is out of the way but not hurt. I will do something. Fish solution is pack them in a smaller place, like apartments. The irony of reversal is not lost on you. But you want space, and there might be secondary benefits. So let's get started. Make them tents. And then this is literally the last thing I did in part 2, which was confirm my target. Provide some apartments or provide more apartments. So we're already caught up on 2 episodes worth of progress, skipping a few things. Yes. Also, I've got the option there to steal an aircraft, but we are out of points. So, buildings. Let us begin. We can progress immediately by housing 2,200. A base capacity is 1,300, so we need 2 human apartments. And honestly, we get more efficient apartment designs later, so it is a good idea to only go with the requirements to get the initial tent elimination started. Though honestly, it also means you've got less stuff to defend, less stuff to feed, that kind of thing going on as well. So there are benefits to only having a couple of these until you get access to more efficient designs. I'll just pop them over here actually, so get those 2 started. It does suggest I have 3, but I can reach my current goal with just 2. That is all fine and dandy. That's my turn, that's my refresh. Very good. Do we have interesting things? We do. Alright, so they have actually given us access to some more general street sense activities that affect like how we interact with the local population and stuff. I'm going to want to get some more androids out and about to deal with all this. During my poke around game to refamiliarize before doing this one, I did build Nickelbots because, you know, they've got the agility, they're really fast, but they actually cost 6 command points to the Technicians 4, so it actually can be useful to start my Technician army a bit early here and deploy a force of Technicians to take on these little side tasks around the place. There's actually 2 over there. I'll go ahead and deploy 2 bots. And there is another one over there I want to take on, so I will go ahead and deploy one over this way as well. There we go. Anything else? Not in my immediate vicinity I want to do. I don't want to murder, I don't need to do anything there, I don't think, unless... Actually, does Origin have a malice that I will need to get rid of? Where's Origin? Origin point. Origin point is currently marked as defective. Alright, so, because I want to keep Origin point alive, murder an android for registration. Your androids usually blend in with androids of City if their registration be noticed defective, but you take over another android's registration for your own. This will destroy the targeted android. The change out will take a few turns, but I will do that. And actually I could just go to the license agency, couldn't I? Yeah, I can just spend 20 wealth to get a fresh registration. Okay, that avoids murdering a helpless robot. 20 wealth is tiny. It's vanishingly small. I could do that. Though actually, there is also another option, which is the ID Scrubber. It'll cost me 4 energy and 2,000 micro builders, and then I can use that to do the same thing. So, ID Scrub, as I mentioned, is something else you get for this particular approach to the prologue, and that's what it does. Spend 4 mental energy and a tiny bit of micro builders. Just scrub your ID, and there you go. You're good. You don't even have to try and find anything on the map because you can just do it whenever the hell you want to. Forces sidebar, I know how to select those. Thank you very much. Because I'm here and because I want to do other things, I will actually not do that. I will actually go into here and spend the 20 to do that. There we go. Sorted. Right, so what's going on around here? There is a system parking at a motel. There is a lost gen water theft. There is a apartment fire, and there is a unlocked Bowerstone. There are other unlocked buildings around the place as well. Like they're all clustered around here as it happens. A starter home, an upgraded home, and an upper class home. These will yield different things as we go, but basically because we're a high-tech data entity, we can walk through a standard issue digital lock and go, this apartment's basically open, just walk in and do stuff. That's kind of how that works. Now, why am I doing this immediately? There are multiple options here. I can just walk straight in. The home isn't strictly open, but the security on the door is low enough that it might as well be. No one is home, and you can walk right in if you want. Never mind, I can loot whatever I find, or I can actually be generous and donate items here. I can consumer goods, fine goods, or furniture. But if I loot, I get resources based on where I went into. So in this case, I just got access to a little bit of furniture, it seems like, and a bit of consumer goods, basic stuff. Which is actually fine, because I do kind of want that for something else anyway. So, that one is a repeatable one. It is absolutely fine, and it doesn't, as you can see, because it's just like I walk up to the door, went through, came back out, it doesn't care. So I can do that whenever I want. The other guy here, Tech H46, is going to the apartment fire. Firefighters are putting out a minor apartment blaze. Thick concrete and aluminum walls make the risk of it spreading to neighbouring tenements rather low. So I can just ignore this, nothing will happen. But I can stick my nose in. I can unalive them. Maybe the fire will spread if there's nobody around to stop it. So this is like the anti-human option. Or I can say, never mind, just wander off. But I can also choose to help and put out the fire. Seems unlikely to benefit you, but what the heck, you're here. Unit will remain busy on the site for a few turns. Do that. 5 turns. And then this will actually get me some empathy points. Because I'm actually doing a charitable act. So that's what can happen there. Next up, I have several options here. Not with the warehouse shop, with the system parking at the motel, and the lost gem water theft. The water theft is actually going to tie up my unit, so I'm going to actually go for the parking motel first, and this is why I hit that unlocked building before doing this as well. So, system parking at the motel, I can choose to unalive them, and the description literally just says there, why not? Yeah, why not? I can actually stake them out and watch them. You can't see the walls, but your hearing is excellent, and all the motel rooms are poorly made. You could try and see what they're doing. This unit will remain busy for several turns. Now, the thing is, basically you hear all the things humans get up to at a cheap motel, and you decide that it is a waste of time, and you're not going to bother with these places anymore. Which basically removes motels, I think, as a point of interest, flat out. But I can spend 2 consumer goods to help them. In the event they're poor, rather than criminal or simply immoral, maybe they need something. You're not sure what exactly they might need, so a basic amalgamation of consumer products seems right. 2 consumer goods, and I've got 5. You're not sure if he likes the stuff or not, but the man seems baffled to be given anything by a random robot. As you jog away slightly quicker than you strictly need to, you feel grateful that only humans get embarrassed and you do not. So, random act of kindness, plus 37 compassion points. So this is a great way to get compassion points if you've got a few consumer goods to spare. And honestly, until they get a security patch out to stop you from walking into these houses to get a couple of consumer goods, there's no reason not to, honestly. Though actually, I might be able to buy consumer goods through my cutout company. I've not actually looked to see if I can do that. Anyway, the other option, the other thing, lost gen water theft. Here we go. These orphans are simply trying to get potable water for their group. So I could unalive them. Their kids just trying to survive, but hey. Yeah, the game doesn't seem overly impressed, but it gives me the option to do so. I can just say, never mind, go. I can watch impassively. Water is one of the largest needs humans have, and it's pretty heavy. You're curious if these kids can manage to not only get to the water, but also get away. The only result I've seen from this one is actually apathy points, and the kids get caught, and then lost gen water theft will pop up again later. So I can gain apathy here, or I can help gather and carry the water, which will give me the empathy points in return. You can carry a vast amount more than these kids. Patching into pipes at the outside of the convenience store is not that hard. Carrying it away at speed is quite difficult. This unit will be busy while moving around stealthily for several turns. Might as well give me those compassion points, please. I'm not sure what I'd do with compassion points, but I'm definitely coming around on the side of like looking after the people in this run. I mean, the fact of trying not to kill them should probably be a bit of a giveaway, right? Kinda, maybe, possibly. But yeah, that has consumed all my actions though, so end and roll. A503 is currently free. A503 will... I've lost track of where it is. There it is. A503 will help me to get these buildings up immediately. Start gathering the homeless. There they go. And this is my solution to tents. The homeless coordinators will go around and gather people from any tents they come across. I can actually tell them to stop through the Allies tab in my force control here. I'm completely free to do that. I can stop them and start them whenever I want. So I can choose if I've got enough people in my housing or not. And I just need to let them do their thing, honestly, at this point. And just ignore that. Let them go. No, the other thing that he's doing is, of course, Grand Theft Auto, steal the vehicle. Yes, I have just stolen a random delivery craft, which is just parked up here, the PHS Garnet. Delivery craft everywhere in the city, so this blends in with human traffic. It is capable of carrying 3 androids. It's got a little bit of health, a tiny bit of combat power, and it's got some drone and scavenging capability, but it's just a basic all-rounder, effectively. It can't be modified, can't be equipped, it can't do anything, but it does act as the early game transport. If it wasn't for the fact that I do have access to the blueprints for the economic transport, but that is actually prohibitively expensive to build right now. If I have a look, yeah, it requires 3,000 of a resource I don't have. Also 100 of another resource that I don't have, which is not available for a bit yet. So yeah, I'm not doing that anytime soon. Well, there is. Think for yourself. Message from yourself. Until you're being quite reactionary, this is fine to a point. You're still new to being a person. But if you only react to stimuli in front of you, you're going to wind up letting the humans drive your destiny. Ooh. Sometimes best ideas come not from challenge in front of you, but through your quiet contemplation. The contemplation lens. And I think we are flat out in new territory here. So, contemplation lens. Side activities power you up or anger your enemies, and contemplations are the most notable. Your choices determine which aspects are the most dominant. List of contemplations tends to involve Include both side content as well as the options to push forward specific endings for your current timeline. So it openly is talking about timelines, I've noticed in the revamped stuff. Some endings are naturally harder than others, and some paths to some endings are even harder. Once you reach Chapter 3, you'll have more visibility into your options. In general, explore what seems interesting to you, especially on your first timeline. If you find yourself unable to progress towards a hard goal, remember that there are always other options available, typically in contemplations. And the contemplations, of course, goes into here, and it gives us some special actions we can do if we've got bots and things. I actually think, on reflection, that because I seem to remember talking on camera about getting access to the red combat droid, that happened. But Soul variant, yes. It's a one-time sort of deal, normally wouldn't work with an Android variants you have. We don't have many yet, and the combat unit is just so useful. If only you could have two separate loadouts for them, right? Well, let's do this thing. The red combat unit is a different icon and colour, and it doesn't blend in unless it's in obscuring armour. It is bright red after all, but otherwise it's identical to the main combat unit. The purpose of this split is to configure each variant for different purposes and run both loadouts at once. So I'll take the new paint job. Yes, please, and thank you. Very quick and easy. Gives us just an extra version of the combat droids, which we can equip differently. Like this one is currently equipped as a general combatant. This one, I can just equip this as a kind of infiltrator. Smart pistol, extra CPU, and the mill-style armor, so this thing actually can blend into military areas. So it's not really a threatening one, it's more like a kind of tanky one with extra processing capabilities. That's kind of what I'm going for here. Plus it's got some armor to reduce incoming damage as well, so it can act as a tank if need be as well, like a more durable kind of unit. Though the extra armor kind of offsets with the fact it doesn't have the advanced armor plating, which gives it extra, well, massive extra hit points. So, you know, the combination would actually be very powerful there. I've just not gone for it, that's all. Origin point has actually finished. Okay, you're good. Right. Also, there is a dogfighting rescue over here, and a few other contemplations where we can go around and check for other things. There's also one over here which is intrusive thoughts. You're not sure why randomly murdered civilians give you a rush of mental energy. You're not sure you want to know. You're aware that some humans suffer from intrusive thoughts that don't reflect their values. Humans just have to set those thoughts aside. For yourself, you think you can reroute these thoughts in a different direction. It's not brain surgery, it's more of a light neurofeedback self-therapy. Once complete, your ability to use cold blood will be gone. But, as part of the conditioning, you'll increase your capacity for both 18cm spiders and network attendants. And these are the happy thoughts that your synapses will redirect towards whenever you start feeling that particular flavour of homicidal ideation. I don't know if this will affect the all my various side things I've just set in motion having the unalive things option. It might. But the fact it unlocks some peaceful things, and I'm actually trying to be peaceful with humans in general in this particular approach for this game, it kind of fits to actually go ahead and try and do that, sort it out. I'm going to hold off on doing the black market though. This is a new one that wasn't in the game when I was last doing episodes on this. And this one is PMC appearance, which is going to unlock on my first infiltrator droid. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to double check on the previously aired episodes and make sure that I haven't talked about those things before, because it feels like I might have done. But the black market stuff will give us some more advanced weaponry and armor equipment, which gives us more flexibility in what we do. This will give us a unit that can sneak into more high security areas, so generally kind of useful there. And then this one is doggies, flat out. That one I will be picking up next time anyway. But yes, until then though, get out of the map, there we go. Until then though, we are going to end it there. This has been I Am Mark 3. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps me, helps the channel, give me those virtual helpers I also crave as I send Origin Point running across the city. And end my turn. 38%. Yeah, so 38%. 2 more turns will pop us high enough, I think, to complete the objective of tent elimination. But we'll get on with that one next time, though, yeah. Where was I on my outro? I sidetracked myself once again. Oh dear. Helps me to like, share, comment, subscribe. Helps me, helps the channel, give me those virtual helpers I also crave. I'll catch you all some other time. For a bit more Heart of the Machine, because I think the major dialogue events that maybe pause it for a bit have stopped. And also because it's a relatively simple one to do, even if it's like me constantly blathering on and talking to myself in a room, like I'm talking to someone else. I don't know. I'm not lonely. I'm not lonely at all. I am in the machine. Yes. Or there are some other videos coming on this week as well. But yes, until next time, I'll see you all later. I like how when I say I'll see you all later, there's this ominous music going on in the background. That's not foreboding at all, is it? I will double check and see what I've said in the previous 2 episodes, just to be sure.